All right, now welcome to another random recap. Can you believe season number 3 of the Challenge All Stars? My name is Ronnie, or if you want to go to the website, it's randomlyRJr.com. We have recapped season 1 and season 2 of Paramount Plus's biggest hit, I would like to say. Along with this journey is my brother, actual brother. We don't always get along on everything, but we definitely like the challenge. Richard, how are you doing? And also, who would you say is a cast member that you're very excited to see this season?
Here we go. We're back. It's been a while. It's been a while. Here we go. Let's go. Let's get started. But it's good to see some of the big heavy hitters like Wes, Jordan, The Godfather. I mean, I'm just ready.
Okay. All yeah, you said all the heavy hitters for sure. It's a strong team. It looks like TJ up the ante. I don't know what I really feel about that right now. One of the reasons I love Challenge All Stars in general was because it was a little more mellow, and I worry if you're already upping the ante at season 3, are they going to be like the MTV version by season 6? It's just going to keep increasing. Some of it that I love is that it is old, it is nostalgic, it is players that aren't in their greatest physical competitiveness, but still having fun on the challenge. So I like the upping the ante, but I also am like a little like let's slow it down, TJ. We don't need to, otherwise Arissa could never come back. And I know you love Arissa.
Oh, she ain't ever coming back. And if TJ's there, you better be ready. Don't none of this nostalgia. Like, hey, free play. Let's go. Let's party. TJ's
Oh,
ready.
yeah, okay. See, we're brothers, actual brothers, 3 years apart, but we don't agree on much except for this challenge. But so I'm saying, oh, up the ante could be a problem, but you're saying I like it. Like, let's just keep increasing it. Let's get bigger, better, faster challenges. That's your vibe.
I'm saying TJ's there. Expect to go hard or go home.
Ah, okay. And you still like TJ as the host? You're still good with that?
It is his final.
Okay. All right. Well, Richard likes TJ. Richard likes the increased up in the ante. I wanted to know what you thought about some of these cast members. We don't have to go over everyone, and you of course mentioned some of the people you liked. Was there anyone there that was a surprise to you? Because I guess the way they're rolling it out this season is everyone has been at least to a final. They may have not won, but they've been to a final. So no layups, let's say. Did anyone kind of surprise you? I think honestly, for me and for a lot of people, I was shocked that Sylvia, I guess, had done good at one point, and that's not to knock. That's just maybe what you think of when you think of Sylvia. So there's a part of me that's like really proud of her, but that was the most that was the biggest shock for me.
Yeah, looking at it, most of these people have been around for a while, but you have a couple that have been taking some time off with Cynthia, Ronnie, Sylvia. She says she's like an underdog and stuff like that. So I guess those would be the ones, but pretty much most of these people on both sides have been around for quite some time, quite a number of challenges in the past.
Richard, I liked the beautiful house, and you and I have talked off our show here. Another random recap again. 3 seasons into it now, if you could believe that. We've been doing it. We've been covering this thing since the beginning because we like the show. If you want to go back to check out that's at randomlyRonnieJr.com. A complete breakdown, season 1, 2, and then of course now 3 of the All Stars. Richard, question for you is I wanted to know, like, I guess we mentioned before that the house does play a little bit of an impact on the competitive nature. What do you think about them starting in style? A lot of challenges we have them where they're coming in as soon as they hit the ground, they're in a challenge. This to me was really cool. They were dressed in, to the nines. The house is maybe one of the more beautiful homes I've seen. Anytime you get a house with a pool, that's great. But when you get a house with a pool that overlooks the ocean, like, and kind of has like this jungle vibe, like, I don't know. It just really was impressive to me. Do you like seeing some of that side of this show, or are you rather them get right into a competition?
Oh no, I love it. The infinity pool in the jungle, everyone dressed up to the nines. I mean, that's the way to enter a show. I mean, it's a nostalgic era of all these people. They're a little bit older, so maybe they have to walk into the house instead of run. But it kind of brings it back to, like they're showing their style, their flair. Like, let's go. We're here, but not yet. But let's have a little bit of fun first.
Right. Everyone has to show off a little because we saw in other challenges that if they are in that bunker like they were, in the regular MTV version, it's a hindrance. It's not fun for the cast, which in theory makes it fun for the audience because we get to see like this raw emotion. But honestly, we don't want to see the raw emotion all the time. Sometimes we want to see everyone looking good, feeling good, talking shit
Jumping
at the
in the pool
beginning.
naked.
Yeah, because none of it's gonna last. It's gonna get, I think there's always a soundbite every season that's like, we're all getting along, but it's not but 24 hours. Things are gonna really turn around and somebody's gonna be really pissed. So that's why I like it being so big and bold for All Stars 3. But they all look great, and you and I, we have to mention this. We're not maybe as old as some of the challenge contestants, like Mark, of course. Maybe we're like
with
10
his
years younger than that.
with
Huh?
his lovely shoes on that had the tags. That was classic.
Yeah. But we are of a certain age where, boy, to age as gracefully as a lot of them have is just like kudos to them. That is one thing I always will like say good on all of them. Are they their 22-year-old bodies? No. But a lot of them are, 30, 40, 50 years old and they're just looking spectacular. They're in it to win it, which is cool.
Yeah, Cyrus has looked about as good as he's ever looked and ready to play the game and fit. And like you said, you could go up and down the line to a lot of them and say the same.
Who's that? Oh, you said Cyrus. Yeah. And I love when we heard this. We're going to be recapping episode 1 and 2 here. We heard that on both episodes. Like they all have something to play for. Some of them are just like the most funny bits of commentary. Like, wait, what? You're playing for, it doesn't seem as impactful as others. But I love to see why they're there and what they're trying to win their money for. What would you try to win your money for? What would be your spiel? What would you say? I'm Richard. I deserve the money because what?
For me, because I'm selfish.
I think that's an honest take. I would say I've been a starving artist, radio and podcaster since 2002, with of course some successes, but the money didn't always come in. That damn it, if I could win this challenge money, I'm getting I'm getting a lipo, I'm getting tightening around my neck, a jawline. Like you just got to keep it funky and say I want a nice car. But they always say
I'll buy my
really
brother
nice
a
things.
vacation or two or something like that as well.
All right, there we go. I'm always winning if I'm rolling with Richard. No, listen, seriously. First challenge is tunnel vision. Thoughts on this one?
Pretty basic. A puzzle. Peek through the hole. Not a lot to it, like
Too basic for
filming
you or what?
wise. I would almost like that as like if it was a 2-part type competition. Like that's one part, and then maybe you had to run through a little beach or something before that.
Why do you think they took it easy on everybody?
That's a good question. I have to ask my man TJ, but I don't know. I really don't know. Like you kind of want to come out with a banger on episode 1, but maybe they just needed something quick and to the point since it's like the intro. They're trying to like get everyone's story, who's in the house, out of the house, and like let's do a little 10-minute, 20-minute competition.
Yeah, the setup of this season, it's always so interesting because they're always different every year. This one is if you do lose, you go straight to elimination. Your winners, they get a bunch of powers. The winners get to, of course, be in charge of what you call in this season called the authority, where the other 2 top players of the guys and the girls teams get to all be an authority, and they get to choose the person who will go against the loser. So the biggest thing you don't want to do is lose the competition. Sadly, for Tunnel Vision, Cynthia and Cyrus lost. Cyrus, we get really sad for because we've seen him play so much. We know that the last time that he left the Challenge All Stars season 1, he was pissed. Remember when he lost with Beth and it didn't really seem good? He felt really challenged, I think. So this was kind of heartbreaking as a viewer and a fan of Cyrus to see, like, could he end up going home even earlier than the first time? But this is just how you feel when he gets his name in elimination. What did you think about Cynthia? Cynthia has been a further away from the game. She's got a 19-year-old kid. I think the last time she was on the challenge, her kid was 2 years old. She was from the Great Miami season. She's got I guess you would say an adult themed erotic line of products that she sells. So Cynthia, I've been following a lot about her. But of course, as far as challenge and camaraderie and what would you call it? Allies, she doesn't really have that many. So her coming in last place was actually really, really kind of tough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much of her. Where you tend to know more about the people's outside the world, I stay inside the challenge. So if I haven't seen someone on the challenge for a while, I kind of lose contact with them. And you can't even find those episodes on Paramount Plus anymore. She goes so far back. So, I mean, it's always good to see someone come back. So, I mean, obviously, we'll see how she does.
And we'll see how she does. We'll see what the strategy is behind that between Cynthia and Cyrus, or anyone who's the two losers. The two winners for this were Wes and Sylvia. The game itself, anything that stuck out to you? There was no real strategy amongst it. It was just more fun. A couple fun sound bites where Kellyanne was like, "Oh yeah, in order for them to do that, they got to do this and do this and do this," and then it sounded a little more nasty than she intended it. So there was really not much to the challenge, and that's why I kind of breezed over it. There was nothing worth bringing up, correct?
No, Tyler played very nice and safe and let the boys go first. And but yeah, there wasn't too much to the whole competition besides memorization.
Which was a shock, like you say, for what TJ puts them through. It was a little bit of a shock. But anyways, what this does is it creates the authority. So again, Wes and Sylvia are your two leaders, and then you have two people that join up with them to kind of say, we have to pick somebody who's going to go up against the two challenge losers. Richard, what is your strategy with that? Do you for all parties, if you're the losing person, do you go try to campaign? If you're the top two, do you vote differently than the rest of the authority? What is your choice on that?
You're asking if I'm in the authority? I mean, I'm probably trying to.
No, I'm asking for all parties involved. Richard, if you were one of the two losers, what do you do? Do you campaign like crazy? Do you show good sportsmanship and say, "Hey, whoever you guys want to put in, I'm happy with it. You know, I lost. I want to earn my place, and I want to kind of build an alliance with you down the line." Do you hit them with that, or do you hit them with like, "Hey, I'd love to go up against this person"? So I'm asking you as far as if you lost, and I'm asking as far as if you are Wes or Sylvia, and then I'm also asking you as far as if you're in the authority. What position do you play? Like, if I'm in the authority, do I talk loud and make a lot of choices and a lot of opinions, or do I let the two winners sort of shoot themselves in the foot on that?
Okay, at first I thought you were just asking me if I was a loser. No, but
No, just all three, because you
on
don't know.
that
I don't know
end,
where to go with this. Yeah.
yeah, on that end, I would just say you go, you keep it cool, keep it cool. It's early in the game. You might throw, hey, give me A or B if you can. If not, no big deal. I'll go up against anyone. I lost. I'm ready. I'm here for, I'm here for the
Which
game.
is a
I
good
lost.
attitude.
But
Yeah.
you don't want to, yeah, there's no reason you're going in regardless. It's not like they're voting you in. I mean, maybe if there was a vote to put you in, then you would go a little bit stronger. But when you're automatically voted in because you're last, like there's not much you could do, and you don't want to make too much of a stink early in the game. Just like you said, if you're trying to battle for later, you want to keep everyone on your side.
Yeah.
As the top people, you're just not trying to ruffle too many feathers. I mean, if you throw good people in, I mean, it's a little early for all that. Why burn bridges early?
Okay. So if you're the authority, you're like the second and the third highest scorer. You kind of just say yes to a lot of things, and then you kind of let the winner, well, what would you like to do? You kind of play it like that, right?
Yeah, and I would like, if I'm in the authority, I'm trying to pick kind of the brains of the other people in the authority, seeing who they want to throw in and stuff, and trying to
Well,
get.
yeah,
It's so early in the game. I'm not pushing anyone. I would only maybe push someone I didn't want to go in.
got it, got it. Um, okay. I mean, I don't know how to do it. That's why whenever the new information comes every season with TJ, usually I would just watch the show a little bit more like a fan. But now when we do our recap here, our after show, it does open my mind to like, what could I be doing? Could I be building alliances, and how can I be doing that? So it kind of made me think that way. Um, Here's where you and I differ. I think the sabotage idea is kind of stupid because it doesn't sabotage. Well, we don't know. We don't know initially, but it doesn't sabotage anything too strongly where you can really make an effect on somebody. but it sabotages just enough for you to like piss somebody off and kind of show your cards a little. So I don't know. I didn't like
And I
that.
think that's
I
the
felt like
beauty of it. It shows your cards, and that's what it's there for. Because then it gives you any reason to have to like, oh, well, you sabotaged me, so I'm going to get you back. It gives you that little reason to do it.
I know, but then I feel like you don't get to build alliances and like structure. Like, well, we have more players that are voting on my side than we have for you, and that's an advantage for me. It kind of takes away an advantage. So in a way, it's a great equalizer. In another way, it doesn't give you a chance to solidify you really being that good of a winner. You know what I mean?
But later on, it may really help. And if you're playing that way, like you go for second and third, you don't go for first. Like that's the move. Go for second and third so you're safe and you don't sabotage.
Yeah, but people could see that though. People could see that if you specifically are gunning and then all of a sudden you drop back to let the other person win. They could see that. They could telegraph that, can't they?
In a puzzle, I mean, we're looking at a puzzle, so that's very easily to manipulate. Like if you know you have it right, oh, I have it wrong by one. Okay, like that's easy to do without people knowing.
What if you're good at the puzzle every time though?
I'm about second place good.
Oh, all right. Well, if you say you think you could do it, then I guess that makes sense. Well, at this point of the episode, it kind of just is a really great opening because it's like, what's going to happen? Again, we've never seen an authority. Is that what it's called? The authority. We've never seen the top two winners have to be a part of the authority and
Well,
nominate for
we've
somebody
seen
to go
like
up
the
against.
trifecta and I don't know, they've had other names on the flagship that are similar, so kind of like it.
You know, that was one I didn't like. I didn't like that one because I felt like it became very kiss assy. It's like, oh, I have to prove my case to you, bitch. I'm not proving my case to you. That one wasn't a fan. Me and you didn't agree on that either because I think you liked that one.
You should prove your case to me, and it's dumb if you don't.
I'm not kissing the ring. Like, are you kidding me? No, screw that.
Well, you're going to
Anyways,
go
Richard,
home.
we'll talk more about this breakdown of how it's going to work. Offhand, I will say 1 out of 10. This was about an 8 or a 9 as far as like the layout, the layout of the season. I liked it. I had nothing. It wasn't too much. Sabotage was probably the only thing I didn't enjoy, but I think this will make for some interesting competitive lines in the sand. You know, the proverbial line in that sand, huh, Rich? The line is always in the sand. And
Yeah, we'll see how the sabotages work throughout the season. Like, you know, how much they do affect per competition.
Got it. Well, let's turn it up, and we're gonna get nice and loud here on this next portion. And Richard, also, I want to let you know, over as we're recording here, if you want to turn it up and turn your vocals a little louder and let them know what Richard really thinks, we wouldn't mind hearing a little more from you there. So, grr, or whatever. Let's turn it up. Yeah, grr, like an animal. Yes, that's not an animal.
Yeah, I guess.
Grr. Oh, yeah, like grr, yeah, like get into it. Okay, anyways. The mansion party in the jungle. Thoughts on that? We've got Tyler, who's the queen of the jungle. He's given feathers. He's got this face chain mask, very androgynous. I think he calls the character Thunder. And so I'm always about Tyler having the most fun. He seems to work the entire crowd. Everyone's like bowing down to him. It's quite funny to me.
And he talks
And
about
so
it like trying to be everyone's best friend in his little confessional and everything. So he wouldn't get voted out early, like last. He was kind of the guinea pig or the person always thrown as like one of the people last season.
And you that's right. And you definitely can't knock the strategy. We talk about that a lot. Like I've applied for Big Brother many times, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I went to Big Brother, physical competitions, how would I do? But then like there's other ways to win the game. Social, your need for being in the house, you know what I mean? Be it your kind of entertaining in the house, or you're cooking and cleaning for the house. Like there's different ways that you could almost create a space where if you're gone, there's a void. And I think that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to create such a space that he's like, you want to be on this amazing vacation with them? You should be on it with me. So I kind of thought Tyler was playing a really good position within that. And I forget, he's a 2-time winner already. So that's exciting.
Yeah, he was a beast back in the day.
And his hips only get bigger every year. So there we go.
And his leg kicks get higher. I mean, he was rocking those hills.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I liked it. Thunder. So there's a little bit of excitement with the party, but then there's a little bit of house strategy. We have Tyler talking with Veronica, kind of explaining what I was just saying a second ago, being very valuable and how you'd be a void if you left. So that's just, the house is starting to talk as much as they could have fun. The house is starting to strategize. What do you think about the authorities group decision? The bottom two are, of course, Tina and Tyler. What was your thoughts on how this first episode, first authority that we've seen, how they handled everything?
I think they just kind of went like, don't rock the boat, put people who don't have ties to other people for the most part, and let's just throw them in at the start. Like, why go after the big fish when we just got here?
Yeah, don't make a big move. And also, the easiest way to do it is if Tyler and Tina got like the worst scores, just pick the next two people with the second worst score. That way, it's justifiable. And I also like the way that Wes said, "Let's make it and I never always agree with Wes, but I like the way he said, like, we're gonna make it a precedent where we want to make sure that winning is a reward. It'd be kind of lame if we nominated somebody who was in fourth place, let's say, because of course the winner's safe, second and third are in the authority, and then you're in fourth place and you get nominated, you got to go in against the loser. That would be kind of lame. It kind of did set that tone that no, we really want to make people try to win. And not that they weren't trying to win, but I don't know, there was something about that I did enjoy, coming from Wes, surprisingly, because usually his sound bites, I want to turn them off as much as I wanted to turn off the
Oh,
real
don't go
world
there yet.
Austin
Don't go there
season.
yet.
The cast reacts to basically the nominations, or the I guess the match. It would be like a matchup. So everyone's kind of reacting. The elimination itself is going to be called the Crawl Brawl. This is with sandbags or of some sort that they're carrying, except they're in a grounded cage. So it's not like the Hall Brawl, but it's the Crawl Brawl. It looks a little claustrophobic. Um, who does this favor, Richard? Like, does this favor, like, so who's Tyler going up against? Tyler's going up against Cyrus. Cyrus lost a lot of weight. Does Tyler get an advantage because he's a little, heavier? Cyrus just lost like 35 pounds or whatever. Or does that not really matter? Is this more of a stamina game in your opinion?
I think this favors like the smaller, quicker person because it's so claustrophobic. And then you have the little pile of dirt in the middle. So I would have favored the smaller person. I think it goes back to I want to say it was Champ's Invasion, maybe, or something like that, where like Nani and her cousin had to go through a very similar thing, and it was like the smaller, quicker person. It definitely favored.
Which would have been Nicole then.
Yeah. But there's a guy and girl in that one, I believe. And then,
Okay.
they had to go heads up. So they didn't have like that mound of dirt they had to build. But yeah, it was kind of like crawl by me, crawl there. And I don't know the exact rules, but if there was no like pushing or shoving, it definitely the smaller, quicker person it favors.
And there's no other strategy as far as like scooping up the dirt and putting it to the left of you so you could try to dart out your right side, and then the other person's got to like go through the dirt that you misplaced too. I mean, there's nothing really. It's really just about agility.
Yeah, and we don't know if there's rules like Tyler can't push them and try to shove them all the way back, something like that, which would take
Well, I
out a
was
lot of
thinking,
energy of both, but we don't know if that's in the rules or not.
yeah, I was wondering, I was like, could Tyler use his big old his big old wide body to kind of push Cyrus, who's quite strong but still just when you don't have a lot of places to go and it's claustrophobic? I was wondering if that was a value. Cynthia's dramatically smaller than Tina, so I thought maybe Tina could use her body in that way. Tina did edge out the win. I was sad to see Cynthia go, but of course, if you're not really watching other than from this challenge, you didn't get enough of her to really miss her. But I would have liked to see her. I would, this is somebody going back to season, what was she in, season 4, 5? She was an early season Miami, and it would have been nice to kind of see her back and give it a second chance. But this is a tough game, and
I think she
they
got to
don't
see
really
Kobe,
make.
right, in an episode.
She did in her road rules. Yeah, I'm sorry, not road rules, but in the little challenge that they had. Yep. Yeah, so that's pretty nostalgic in itself. So, and she seems like a good player too. And she, you do the golden rule at the end. You go out like a champ, even though you have to go home. and then you do a confessional and say, if I'm ever invited back, I'm going to give it my all. That's kind of how you have to play it.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Do your best.
Tina gets a little cocky. She mentions how great the redemptions are. And I think it was good for her, though, because she really did have to prove herself because of last season. Walking off, I would have never thought she would be invited back. And now she's already in good graces. So good for her. Tina's very present. Even when you don't like her, she's a very present person, which I do like. Richard, thoughts on the stars and what they represent?
Oh boy. Okay, so you're going towards the winner gets extra star on their t-shirt. I think TJ says, correct?
Yeah, which reminded me of one of those challenges in the regular MTV version where it was beneficial for you to go into I guess maybe the gauntlet or whatever it was called, arena crater, whatever it was called, because you actually had to have a skull in order to compete. So there's a part of me that kind of likes that, because there's a part of me that's saying, well, on the flip side, if you don't do very good, you're going to go into the arena in this Challenge All-Stars 3 a lot. But maybe getting 5 stars gives you, a 40-minute time difference, and some of these players, that's all the difference in the world to, keep them from winning the money,
Yeah, maybe they'll have like a final 5, like, hey, all right, we're going to take a top 3 to the finals, and every star you have is an extra 10 seconds or extra minute you have off, or just so it's an advantage. If you've been having to go in nonstop, like, you should get an advantage, because you see a lot of times in these shows they just pick on the same people over and over and over, and you hate to see stuff like that.
Richard, yes, you do hate to see stuff like that. Richard, I just figured it out. I was thinking in my head, because we were going to talk about the trailer and TJ talking about reinforcements, and then you see Johnny Bananas is somewhere in the mix, almost there just to scare Wes. Maybe by accumulating the stars, by the time you go to a final, you get to have some of these top dogs, whoever they are, Johnny Bananas, maybe it's CT, whoever it is, I'm not really sure. They get to come play on your run the final with you, and the final will be based on not necessarily time, but the more players that you have can help you. I don't know what I'm saying, but
or maybe
get
the
it a
more
little bit.
stars you have, you get first pick at a reinforcement or something.
Yeah, I think something, because the way he said reinforcements to me was like, and this is just based on the trailer, the season trailer. I'm thinking now that it's going to be of value to be able to use those stars. Yes, to the two teams will pair off, and some team will think they're doing so much better, and then it's like, well, how many stars do you have? Well, how many stars do you have? Well, lo and behold, no one wants to pick Tina, let's say hypothetically, but she's got like 6 stars. Well, then she's going to get to dominate and pick her really strong final team. That could be something.
Yeah, maybe
now,
the most stars gets first pick in like the final grouping.
That's a twist I would go for. I like that. I just thought of that too.
Just like that.
Yeah, I did. It was good. Richard, do you have any last thoughts?
Write
on
it down.
Challenge
Mark it down. I'll tell my boy TJ.
You'll call TJ and let him know, huh? It's amazing how many seasons TJ has done this series. And just even how he was in the right place at the right time when he was doing an MTV project, and some of the executives had seen him and just kind of poached him to do this position. Obviously, there was other hosts before, the Dave Mira and Johnny Mosley, but like how he was in the right place at the right time. And one of the executives, had poached him to just like be the perfect person, and he had no experience in it, and it just kind of works out. I make jokes a lot about like, oh, TJ, do we need to see him again? But you always talk about how great he is for the show. So it's quite amazing. A good attitude and a skill set. Of course, he's, great at his own athleticism, but
he's
yeah,
like
something about him.
To the competitors by now too. So like they would even get upset since he's such a staple. Like if he wasn't doing it.
Yeah, because he's fair with them. Yep, he's fair with them. I agree. Richard, we'll take a little bit of a break here, a 30-second break here. We are going to
do the.
Oh yes. What do you want? Break it down. Tell me.
Break it down. I mean, we have people talking to the camera all the time, and we gotta pick who's the best per episode.
Okay, so our confessional superstar of the episode. Okay, confessional of the week for episode 1. will be. Well, do you have somebody, or do you want me to come up with somebody
Well,
first?
you come up with one, I'll come up with one, and then together we'll say who's the winner.
Okay, well, to the first episode, sadly, and this is something I noticed, and I actually am a little bit upset about it. We do not have that strong of confessionals this season. In comparison, if we're gonna lose Tyler, which of course we sadly did. I mean, we just mentioned all that right now. We didn't say we lost Tyler, we lost Cynthia. I mean, we mentioned it, but just clarifying, we lose Tyler. He's a great narrator. So without Tyler, season one, I really got to say that it is somebody like Wes. But the problem with Wes is he puts it on too much. It's too fake and phony. So my confessional person for episode one would be, my nomination would be Wes. But it's easy to be phony episode one, not phony, but like over the top episode one, because there's no checks and balances just yet. But if you're gonna make me answer, I'm gonna give Wes the award for episode one.
Wow, you don't even like West.
But that's Richard. That's a knock. That's a knock on the season. Who do we have? Last year we had Jasmine.
No, you're right. You're right about there wasn't.
We don't have a lot of good,
and I hope we get better ones. But you were on the right track at the start. It's confessional of that episode, and I think that goes to Tyler.
Okay, good. Well, that's good because he only had one. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if he's not on the show anymore, but I mean, I think he had the best confessionals. He came when it was the party. He was ready to dance, have a good time. And on something that there wasn't a lot of confessionals, I'm saying Tyler.
Oh, so we could kind of like tally it up and see who kind of wins consistently throughout the course of this season. Okay. Well, we know that Tyler will only get one episode, but still, okay, I like it. Yeah.
That's more than some people will get, I'll tell you that.
And it starts to get better. Wow, you're coming for Brad. Free my man Brad.
Hey, Brad's my boy. What do you mean? Brad's my boy.
I know, but Brad never has. He never has a confessional.
Where's my man Brad?
That's
Free
that
my
good.
man Brad.
He doesn't do it, Richard. He's like not really there sometimes.
Surprising. There was not a lot of Brad. There was not a lot of Derek on the confessionals, and those are like two people that were always usually kind of like confessional, especially Derek.
Well, and player wise, athleticism wise, Darrell was not even in this episode, and so that's when I looked up and I said, who's somebody I want to see to win? And I was like, oh, I forgot Darrell was even there, and that's just because he's, there's no drama.
Darrell's the underliner that does do some good confessionals, but like I said, I felt like him, Brad, Derek were barely even in the episode.
Yeah. Yep.
So we coming together with Tyler for episode one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was going to give it to Wes just because he was the only one that was most aggressive with it, but I could give it to Tyler. Yep. Mm-hmm. Tyler,
Wes was my other guess, but I think Tyler was
aka
the best,
Thunder.
more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wes was a lot of the same stuff. I'm so good. I'm so that. I'm so like over and over. But Tyler was a little bit of everything. Like, I'm here for fun. I'm here to play this and that. Let's go.
Exactly.
So
Jordan might be somebody down the road. We'll have some fun ones, so we'll see. But let's go with Tyler for episode one for sure.
Mark it down.
All right. That wraps up episode one of the Challenge All-Stars on Paramount Plus. Another random recap. Myself, Ronnie, and my brother Richard. We are recapping this. We come from two different walks of life as far as common interests, but the Challenge All-Stars is something we could decide on together and differentiate opinions there too. I'm going to give us a 30-second break real quick just to show you more about the channel, RandomlyRJr.com. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about what I feel about the Challenge All-Stars 3 episode 2, my earlier thoughts, and also what I'm also liking on Paramount Plus. Really got to talk briefly about the Homecoming because it's just so good. So let's take a 30-second break here and we'll come back and we'll wrap it out with season 3, episode 2 of Challenge All-Stars.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.
All right. Back in it. Back in it. Yes, yes, yes. So I just want to take a little break there just to kind of show everything we got with RandomlyRJ.com. Of course, the channel isn't just about the All-Stars, isn't just about Paramount Plus, isn't just about Real World Homecoming. We cover a lot of stuff. And sometimes when you notice we do some of these shows, we're tired or cranky or we could barely get our voices out. It's just because we do a lot here and it is an independent channel. So if you want to support it, go to patreon.com/randomlyRJ. That is, once again, patreon.com/randomlyRJ, and you can show some support that way. But looking at this season, it is such a great cast. And I think this show, I made jokes a second ago how the show could essentially cast bigger and better as far as they need a couple more confessional people to make the show, stronger. But it's just casted so well. That's the thing I do like about it. So while I made a little knock a second ago, the correction I want to make is that it's casted as a nice ensemble. Everyone complements the next person. We're talking about confessionals, and I'm like, why can't even Latarian could be a great confessional person because this is his third season. So we're starting to see the story and the storylines and the storytelling of these people. And I think it's really good because storytelling, the reason I'm liking storytelling is I am watching the Real World Homecoming New Orleans, and I won't get into that because we of course cover that on randomlyrjr.com anyway. But just as a brief note, Paramount Plus is doing it right now because they're giving you these great challenge All-Stars and they're also giving you Real World Homecoming New Orleans, and I just think it's so fantastic. Again, I won't cover it here because I actually have another playlist that's dedicated to that series. But just because this is a little bit in unison with the Real World Road Rules, I thought we would kind of throw that in and say, if you're not watching it and seeing Princess Melissa, dominate that series, and you're not seeing Julie being so far from who she used to be as a Mormon, and all of the stuff, you got to make sure you watch that on Paramount Plus, just like you're watching the Challenge All Stars season 3. So they're doing a very good job right now. And that is exciting. Richard,
here we go.
I was going to ask you, thinking about episode 2, did you like the way that they rolled out 2 episodes at one time?
Yes, because I can never get enough.
So you would be okay with a what's it called, like a binge, like if they put all the episodes out in one day, or you like it just like 2 and 2 and 2, that kind of works?
No. I like to binge. But I guess this keeps me a little bit patient here and there to watch week by week.
I like it week by week. That's why I don't watch the Netflix reality shows, because I need like some time. I need like 1 or 2 episodes, get back on with my life, and then catch up the next week and like be like, ooh, it's Wednesday already, something like that. But I thought it was a little different. I couldn't wait to tell you. I was like, well, I wonder if they're going to start binging on Paramount. But it does seem like they'll still release it week to week, just to do the 2 episodes after this. Just to do the 2 episodes after so long of a wait, I think did make sense, because again, usually there's the MTV version. So if you don't get to watch All Stars, you get your fix of the MTV version. But the MTV version has been quite a long time. And by the way, have they even started All Stars 38? I mean, or CBS Challenge? Like, everything's a bit confusing. I guess this is kind of probably the best one, if you ask me.
I'm not sure, but I heard something about Giant Bananas saying he might be going on vacation in a couple weeks. He can't say anything, though.
Okay. Episode 2. So we have a couple of the cast members speaking. And Richard, thank you. Big thank you to Richard, brother of mine, for being so dedicated. This is our third season recapping the Challenge All Stars. We do the best that we can. We come from 2 different walks of life for the most part, different interests. But we are siblings, 3 years apart. And it's always really fun to do this, because the Challenge All Stars is something that, like, I watch like the way I watch TV, and Richard watches a completely different way. And the feedback that we've gotten from people have been like, oh, that's such a cool concept. You know what I mean? 2 brothers, not exactly the same interests, but yet it all comes together on this one podcast where, Ronnie's usually right and Richard's usually wrong. And it's comical.
The way I watch it's the better way.
He keeps telling himself these things. He's not telling the truth though. Anyways, the truth is, the cast is speaking about what this sabotage power is. Do you think any of them have a reason to be so alarmed, or can, because as viewers we're learning that the sabotage really ain't shit, at least right now. But I guess if you're in
Well,
the game,
I guess we
you might
don't
as well
know
be.
yet. So we haven't sabotaged anyone yet. So we're going into the second one, and we're going to see how much of a burden a sabotage is. So we'll see.
Yeah. We also see that Melinda's ankle is hurt. I get a little bit of a soft spot in my heart in regards to, she did work really, really hard on Allstars 2. She's not my favorite cast members in terms of being compelling,
You're
but
telling us, huh?
yeah, like interesting. She'll never win a confessional person of the week. Like she's not really like funny or anything like that. But if you're going to go through that finale, the final, and work your butt off and you do hurt yourself and you come back in just a couple of weeks from the season 2 to season 3, my hat's off to you. So her just expressing that and it kind of being a worry is a bit interesting. So yeah, I'll give her a little credit there. Mark speaks with his mom about her health. It's kind of sad in the regards of, we've known from season 1 that she was going through this, and almost in some way you're expecting the next update from him to be more positive, and it wasn't more positive other than the fact that she's going through just as much as what she's always been going through, if not more. But she's taking it on. Actually, I don't really have the right words to use here, but she's giving her tenacity, and actually the words I would use was what Mark said, is it's giving him like a purpose and a reason to like win, but like showcase the strength that she showcases to me while she's going through the worst thing, and she's my favorite person in the world. Touching scene. It was a bit expected too, because you kind of knew already how she was feeling. I was hoping it was like, oh, she's made it through. However, she has not, and it just pumped me up for Mark, a little bit more. So that was a refreshing scene, I thought.
Yeah, we don't know a family who hasn't been hit by cancer. So if that doesn't tug at your heartstrings, you might not have a soul.
Yeah, well, that, and he's the godfather of the show, and he didn't come back for season 2. So I had actually thought, was he taking time out to be with his mom? So then, and then if so, that's great. Because maybe the times are getting really dim, and it's good for him to be with her. But then he comes back for season 3, so I didn't know what the update was. So kind of just like knocked you on your butt a little bit watching that camaraderie and his reason, his passion, his purpose for her. So rough one, but if anyone could handle it, I guess it could be Mark.
The Godfather.
The godfather of the challenges and road rules and all this stuff. Yeah. Let's talk about the challenge. It's called Out of Reach. So you're going to be on this swing set, which is about 35 feet high. And you're swinging back and forth to tap a container that holds a key in it. So you're basically swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging, and you hit it with your feet, tap the container, and inside that container, there's a key. And once you get the key, you unlock the key. You unlock it, and you get the key to unlock a box that has puzzle pieces, and you which make a star from those pieces. And it's just kind of more of a monotonous thing, but it's definitely probably better than the first challenge we saw.
I would say it's kind of similar, but like how I said on the first challenge, it was like just a puzzle or just memory, where this has the swings before the actual puzzle of them putting a star together. So they did add the other one component,
which knocked a couple people on their butts for sure.
Oh, we figured out people can't swing nowadays, huh?
I don't think that's as easy as you think, though.
I don't know. I remember swinging being pretty easy, but
yeah, but maybe.
But I don't know at our age anymore if it would be.
And the gravity of you being so high too.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely something as a kid you do, and you go as high as you can, and you jump off and you fly. But like nowadays, at our older age, who knows?
Yeah, and maybe your big old body doesn't move the same. Imagine if CT was on the swing, the whole crane would fall down.
The crane would be swinging.
Yeah, side to side for sure. We also have these sabotages. Well, one thing I didn't know about the sabotage was if you had to use it. So the sabotage is a 1-minute penalty. Honestly, it's such a weak sabotage, but it does call out who you're against and all those things. So this is Wes
I'm going
calling
to
out.
disagree a little bit because on a basic challenge like this, a minute's a long time. Like if you're good at the swings, it shouldn't take you longer than what 3 to 5 minutes. So like a minute in a 3 to 5 minute race with a puzzle, that's a kind of big delay.
Well, then I say it from the place of I don't even think the sabotage is necessary at all. So I'm saying that it telegraphs like who you're not rocking with, who's not on your team, who you're trying to save, who's expendable to you. That's more what I
Well,
mean. But yeah, I guess a minute.
and then people can't float like if they have that power. Like you can't just float by, and you got to name someone.
Yeah, yeah. It's the bad side of winning. The winning is you're safe. The winning is you're really essentially in charge of the authority, but then you have to have that one thing that throws you off to kind of like when we watch Big Brother. It'll be the week that you win head of household, and then the next week you're like the first one, up on the block. It's the same kind of vibe actually with
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Kellyanne and Jordan are our sabotage contestants. I thought they would be sabotage where they couldn't even start swinging until the minute, but it turns out you could start the swinging with everyone, but once you get to the puzzle you have to like wait a minute or whatever. So that was a bit crushing for the two of them. We've got 4 heats in total. Richard, you can break down all of them if you want, but I just wanted to get your general thoughts on who stuck out in the men's rounds. There's 2, and in the women's round, which is also 2. What are your overall thoughts? Some of the things that jumped up to me where Wes was struggling, which was funny because I'm just so sick of his loudmouth.
Maybe we are
okay
brothers because I was going to go towards the people who struggled in this, and Wes was number 1, and Tina was the other one.
It just gets so annoying to be so confident and then you to fail that hard. And even Tina had kind of been picking on Sylvia. Now Sylvia's a little bit more vulnerable. Sylvia's a little like, oh God, I'm not going to be able to do it. But like, did you see the way Tina like looked at her and was like, on a swing, that's so nerve wracking on a swing. And I was like, Tina, you failed it more than anybody. So Sylvia, yes, she was kind of being a pansy for being so, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, but at the same time, Tina, you made it like it was so easy and you couldn't even sit on the thing, Nehemiah made the first great confessional he's made in years. Tina took a regular
boy, here we go. Team Austin over there.
Tina made a regular swing to a sex swing. It's and Nehemiah does not have funny confessionals. So we won't get another confessional that's funny, for weeks. But yeah, it's that barking really loud but not being able to back it up kind of a thing. And that was Wes and Tina. I also like the way Kellyanne got stressed.
Tina's interesting was that Kellyanne did so bad at her puzzle that you're like, well, Kellyanne's probably going to go in as long as everyone finishes. But Tina does so bad that she DQs, and then it kind of takes Kellyanne away from having to go in.
It was funny to see Tina in that position. I was a little worried for her arms, though. I'm like, are her arms going to snap off? Oh, it was bad. Didn't know how she ended up like that, but she did, and yep, it was not good. Kellyanne, she hit you with they were like, oh, calm down. She's like, calm down. I'm not like a calm person. I thought that was funny. You tell somebody to not be stressed, they end up getting more stressed. You see that a lot, so I thought that was funny. And then I thought Darrell dropping to preserve. He said his hands were kind of like starting to bleed or whatever. And Darrell's such a winner at a lot of his challenges, so no one's gonna like talk against that,
Well, yeah, and they had a time limit, so he already knew people hit the time limit before. So it's like if you're going to have a rope challenge on the elimination, say he did come in 6, you don't want torn up hands. So I thought it was a smart move because if you hit at the most, it was going to be a 20-minute time limit.
So that okay, yeah, well, yeah. No, I mean he didn't do it dumb. No, I mean
yeah. Which Wes and LT in the heat before hit the 20-minute time limit, so he's like, well, I'm not going to get more than that. I'll get the same, but
yeah. Yeah. That's it, and they look so silly.
they did, but I guess it came out to with Yes and Kendall, they won the whole thing, so they were the winners.
Yeah.
So I guess they'll be
Um,
able to hand out sabotage, your favorite thing to sabotage next.
I don't like it. I don't really like it, but yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad for the winners. Um, one thing I'm gonna put as a red flag with Kendall, because we remember it from seasons before. She plays very feeble. You know, I and this is kind of skipping ahead to authority, which we'll
Well,
get
that's a
to.
big
You know,
word,
she
people, as in the what?
like meek. She plays kind of meek sometimes. You know, maybe and it's a bit unfair because you know to some degree she's holding her cards close to her. But you know, you have to play the game a little. It just doesn't feel like she plays the game quite a bit.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So you're
it,
saying her
it's
winning? I mean, how are you saying that into this part of the game?
well how she was last couple seasons, and even when they were coming into the house, Yes was trying to be exciting, and she was like like feeble, and then
Oh,
when
after they
they're
won, and they show always the winners coming back and
yeah,
partying and
and then it was
stuff.
the
Okay.
authority, and he was asking, and we'll get to the authority, it was the authority. He's asking, well, what do you want? You know, like trying to, and you know, well, this is what so like she's just, it's kind of, I just don't like it when somebody tries to play too fair and safe of a game when we all have to make a decision. Why does she always get to kind of hide out by her weakness? And no one likes to pick on weak people, and I don't think she's a weak person. That's why I think it's a little challenging.
Well, I mean, if
I
you
think
look at
she
season one, she went in more than anyone else. So I think
that
she's
doesn't make you
just
weaker.
not
That
a.
doesn't make you weaker. That doesn't make you weak or not weak.
No, I think she's just more of a shy and like not a loud person. Where you're in, I mean, looking at this roster of people that are on the show, they are all loud and they are all alphas, the females and the males.
Yeah, I'm just saying not my favorite of a to yeah, that's it. That's just not my favorite. Losers are Latarian and Tina. The authority is Yes, Kendall, Jordan, Janae, Brad, and Kayla. At the house, we see that Jordan and Wes are kind of joking around. Wes rather, he has to kind of assess that. Damn, I kind of played myself. I put him for sabotage. He ends up doing really well. What's that going to be for me? It's nice to see Wes have a playful attitude. I thought that was kind of cool. Latarian talks about looking into surrogacy, which was kind of off something I wouldn't have thought he would bring up. So that was kind of interesting as to why he wants the money. I don't think we've heard much of that, like a man trying to be a single father or whatever, or, I want to win the money for my unborn child. Like, I thought that was kind of
Yeah,
nice.
big ups to
Um,
him. And it sounded like he never thought about it until coming back for these challenges. So it's kind of
Oh,
cool to
Latarian,
hear.
even if he doesn't come back for season 4, bring him back for season 5, 6, and 7. He has been such a story to watch. You know what I mean? Not knowing everybody, kind of being on the outs, not in a mean way, but in a like he was in the earlier seasons, and then him to just kind of make his bonds with, he made his bonds with Tech and Nehemiah and Cyrus. It's just I really like him. So that was pretty cool. Kellyanne wants the money for Animal Sanctuary. Earlier in the episode, we talked about what we would want the money for. We said all superficial things. I want a tummy tuck. I want my jawline to be stronger. Um,
Oh, we,
no,
we,
I'm
we
serious.
never mentioned about her and Tyler talking about enemas in the episode one.
Oh yeah, what did they say? They were just gonna teach each other about the girl
I don't know if we
enema.
want to go back to all that stuff,
Well, you
but
brought it
that was
up. You
pretty
brought it up.
funny. Hey, that's why Tyler
Yeah.
won. That's why he won the confessional of the week.
Well, see, he was right. You want me out of the house? Look at how much fun you're gonna lose out on. And that's to say, Kellyanne wasn't even his friend to begin with. They didn't know each other, so that was a bond that could have been that didn't get to really go. Anyways, also in the house we have Tina strategizing with the top 6, which is the authority. This is where she kind of talks to Janae and gives her a threat. That threat was so gnarly, so nasty, but I think Janae did hold her head pretty high.
That's old school
But
Tina though too, as well.
yeah, and she doesn't care. She doesn't care. So what is it to her if she really doesn't care? Latarian, on the other hand, he's more in good spirits. He's more like, my only thing is I don't want to go up against my team. But Cyrus makes the mention like, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't go in, but I could go in because why would anyone here want to reward my alliance? And that's kind of what it turns into. You talk to somebody like Tina or Latarian, you could take their advice or their wishes into consideration, but you don't have to, because what am I going to build your team and cut somebody who's going to be a number for you later and not for me later? No, I got to cut somebody out of your squad. So Cyrus was very hip to that. I thought was great. Anyways, those are some of my thoughts as we're getting ready for the authority. Did you have anything to contribute to that, Rich?
Well, are we talking about how they pick the people they pick, or are you just talking about what Cyrus was saying?
What Cyrus was saying, yeah, like, no, recognizing that even if I go up to anybody and it's my guy, like that's my best ally, I got to know that at the end of the day, there might be other powers that be in that authority that they're going to want us not to be with each other. Their best bet is to get Cyrus against Laterian, cut that team in half.
Yeah, I mean,
He knew that he
alliances
was
and
hip to that.
friends are ones you want to get rid of. And so, yeah, if you understand the game, and Cyrus has been around a long time, so he understands. So it's nice to see that and not take it personal.
This authority, though, was disappointing to me with Kayla.
Really? I thought Kayla was the star of the authority because everyone's
She may have been
so nice to start. And she's like, nah, like,
I don't
this is
I don't think she
our
was playing. Okay, but
this
I don't
is
think she
our
was
way
playing
to throw
smart
it.
though.
What do
Yeah,
you
but in other
mean?
words, she did it worse though. I absolutely hated let's take 6 of us and let's eliminate one of our for sure people. That I thought was the dumbest thing because then like what you should be doing for the best strategy for yourself is even if the people could telegraph who you want or don't want, you keep that as quiet as possible. And then when the names come up and when the leverage is there or if it isn't, then you say, damn, I got to let my guy go. And it just kind of be what it would be. For instance,
Disagree.
if it was if it was everyone against Wes, Brad would have had to make a decision. I'm going to have to fight for it or I'm going to have to just like let it go and I'll just have to tell Wes, hey, I was outnumbered. But Kayla, the way Kayla set it up, they all got Wes, who deserved. Like, how do you get that strong of a pass? Nobody who's up for the elimination from, let's say, so you have the winner, the second, and the third were all in authority, and then you have the losers. Anyone who were in the middle of that, which I believe were three players for each, men and women. Anyone who was in the middle should not get an automatic save. Richard, I didn't like that they all got an automatic save. What they should have done was, who are you putting up? Who would you like to see go? And if your person was Wes, because a lot of them would have been Wes, then Brad, then you have to be the one. But you gave Brad all that ammunition. And I'm not saying Kayla did that to favor Brad. I'm not even saying Kayla did that
brilliant of what she did.
No, I don't even think Kayla did that. I don't even think Kayla did it. Like she was smart.
I've let you talk all your nonsense for a while. So
well, no, because I want to finish the thought. Kayla, I think she wanted to make it fair, but it actually wasn't fair, though.
Okay.
Well, because you got to
the brilliance of it is she only has one. She knows there's other people that have multiple. You've already talked about Laterian, Cyrus, Nehemiah, blah, blah, blah. They got like 3 or 4, 5 people. She doesn't have that. She's the newest one. She doesn't even know half this cast. Probably doesn't even know a tenth of it. Sylvia's like the one person she knows because she's so new. So for her to be able to do that, save her one person, she wasn't showing any cards. She made them all show their cards. And not only that, she saw how like weak-minded these people were, that they let her have that power. There's 5 other people that could have said, no, we're not doing that way.
Which is why, okay, time out. Let me add something. Can I add something real quick?
Okay.
That's why I said I was pissed, and I wasn't pissed, but that's why I was discouraged that, because Yes is my guy. I'm upset. Yes is a fucking winner. Like, just in general, as a human, he's a winner, right? And it hurts him when you got somebody so feeble like Kendall, like, oh, I don't know. That should have never been a situation. And if Yes would have been, if Yes, no, I'll give you that Yes, Kendall should have stepped up. But I'm saying I'm
Yes
upset
should have stepped up. Your boy Yes should have stepped up if he was so
Richard,
like.
how could he? He was with Brad, who was like, well, I don't know, and Kendall, well, I don't know. Like, Yes didn't really have much to go off of. He had Kayla, who was strong.
Why
I will give her that.
Able to sway him, but Yes wasn't, like,
because it was the impression of being so fair, but it was actually the dumbest impression. And the people that it does favor is somebody like Kayla, who has less leverage. So I'll give you that. It favors her, but no, you should like by Brad, even by Brad, and even Kendall not asserting themselves. They kind of took away the leverage that they had. Basically, I would think of it like this. Not that it has to be this way, but if you're the winner, 1 and 2, you run that authority, and then player 2 and player 3 are there kind of as your backup. Not saying you can't give everyone an equal ear, but you basically should be running it. Well, how do you run it if you know your co?
Well, first of all, that's not how the game's played, and 1 and 2
that's how I would play
want
it, though.
that. 1 and 2 are running away from it. That's the exact opposite what 1 and 2.
But Yes wasn't running away from it. He's like, I don't think we should be showing that who our ride or die is or whatever. So I think he was trying. But see, it's kind of like, have you ever been in those situations where as strong as you want to be, if you're around dumb people, it's going to hurt you? Now, I'm not saying Brad's dumb, and I'm not saying Kendall's dumb, but I'm saying Kendall playing feeble and Brad playing like, Brad, I don't know, I'd like Wes. Like we've got not strong, tenacious people, and then you let them have a full veto, basically. I just don't think
about smart people?
I don't think
you work with the room you work with the room you have, so you don't blame. You know what buttons to press.
Okay, but Richard, I could still be disappointed. I could still be disappointed in Kayla, though. I was disappointed in Kayla.
She played it perfect for her game,
but I could still be disappointed
what was the
in
best
her.
Move for Kayla, though,
I don't know what it was. I don't really know.
I think that was the best move. I mean, if you're Kayla, like you're playing it from Yes's eyes, I think, because that's your favorite player. But for Kayla,
he's not my favorite
move.
only player. Yeah. Well, then I guess the discouragement though comes from don't let her in like that, you guys, and they did. So yeah. So there's a bit of a kudos. There's a bit of a kudos to how good she did with it, for sure. But there's also a bit of a don't let that happen,
Yeah, and that's only if you're coming from a person that wants wants Wes out or something.
No,
perfectly
that's
fine.
Completely inaccurate. This has not. I hated it.
But my whole thing was Kayla played the correct move for her game, and they let her. So
okay,
but
you're missing the point, Richard. Wait. So there's three things that are happening here. Did she play the best game for her? I say yes. The answer is to that yes. Was she disappointing the way that she maneuvered them? That answer is also yes. Do I like even?
Why would that be disappointing?
No, wait. Because I think it's a bad way to choose.
To your favorite?
No, it's not. No, because you should be in a much stronger position.
Who's you?
Where you get if I'm in the authority, I should be in a much stronger situation where I can start putting out names, not eliminating names, and then leaving the three that are those were like wasteful names. When she mentioned the three guys and three girls,
no one else led the charge.
No, I get that she created that. Yes, no, we're not. I've already said that she's smart in that, and she did that. But that's also why I'm disappointed in it.
But I don't understand why she could be disappointing as well.
Because I don't like that. Because you're not making the best decision. You're not. It's not a smart
for her. She is
for everyone. No, for everyone. For everyone. You're not making the best.
Why do you care about everyone? You don't care about yourself.
The goal. Because you can't. You shouldn't be able to give someone a veto. That's why you should not be. You should be able to give a veto in this way. We're all six in here. We're all picking up. We're all picking somebody, and we no, I know, Richard, but that's why. And I already said so. You gotta move on and listen. I already said she gets the credibility for her being.
I mean, you keep doing it from the other five people, but
I know, Richard. But what you're missing is I'm telling you that
you're saying she shouldn't be able to get a veto.
You gotta get over her. You gotta get over her. You got to get over her. So I can make my point. You got to be done with her. So being done with her, what I'm saying is, I don't like it if it was the next cast member who said, let's all put a 6 that we want to save, and then whatever's straggling left. That's not smart for the team. That's not smart for.
We're not a team. That's what you're not getting. It's not a team, and that's why people don't want to stick out. It's not a team,
but it's a dumb way. I wasn't done, and I wasn't saying it was a team. And the thing is, you still now are giving each of yourself, a worse choice. You got a much slicker way to get somebody out that's a smarter person for you and for some of the other people than giving 6 voids, rather. 6 voids, like 6 vetoes, basically. Oh, I don't want to play that game. 6 voids. That's
then
rough.
No, you would stand up and you make the stink that you're making right now, and you wouldn't let.
I would. Yes, I would. I'd say this is a dumb way to do it,
and that would be that would be your gameplay, and I'm perfectly fine with that gameplay. But these people don't want to make any waves, so they're scared. So like, Kayla made a little wave. No one else wants to make any bit of a wave, so they all back down. And she had the least of all those.
And
Yeah,
that's what
but
I
you
said I
said
don't like.
what's
Yeah.
least like. I mean, you can not like it,
No,
but
I'm saying I don't like
that's
it
what it
regardless if it was
is.
Kayla or the next person. Like it could
No,
be
I
whoever's
agree.
the next week. I don't like that. So now you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, I didn't like it in
No, I
regards to.
understood it the whole time, but you kept saying like
Oh,
we're playing it.
I thought you were stuck on. I thought you were stuck on Kayla. I'm not stuck on
No,
Kayla. I mean, it is a little bit of a aggressive move on her end, and she, I guess, of course, deserves it for her to maneuver and fool the people. That is something she will have to, like, she gets credibility for. But I'm saying, even if it was the next person or one, if it was Yes saying that, let's break up six. We all divide the six, then we only leave the last three scragglers. When you have that much of a power of authority, you don't want scragglers to be your nominations. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, that's a better way to say it. If I have a chance to take somebody out to go up against a winner, I don't want my choices to be a scraggler because we equally fairly got to, all take a void or a veto of somebody. To me, that just doesn't seem smart.
yeah, but that's what you
I'll leave it
don't
at that.
want, and you would have to speak up to not have
And I
that.
would, and I
No
would,
one else
and I
can.
would. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I
The only
oh, I
reason I was going back and
trust
forth
me,
with
I know you would. I mean,
back and forth with you is because I thought that you were saying you thought I was like pressing this to a Kayla issue. I don't care about her per se. I just don't
no.
like if it's next episode and Mark's the person. All right, everybody, let's all pick six that we protect. Like, if I was a producer, I'd be like, oh, this is some bullshit. Like, you guys all vote, and if your person gets up against the wall, then now, Brad, you got to step up and say, I don't want Wes, and then let's let the game begin. It was just a little too nice, a nice way of playing the game.
Oh,
So I could
I
see.
thought it was more strategic, and it changes the game more than the way they did the week before. Let's just choose the bottom two. Now that's boring because it's like the bottom two of the next two. Like that's more boring to me.
Yeah, but
Like
episode
at
one, you have
least
to do
people
that.
got to show cards here.
Episode one, you have to do that, I think. And at the end of the day, you hold cards all the time. You do show your cards all the time. I just don't think everyone, like, you're giving six people, like, if you hear it hear it out loud, you're giving six people a
I'm
void.
not giving. They gave it. I'm not giving anything. I didn't
Yeah,
make it.
well,
They
that's what I'm
didn't
saying.
say
If they
That's what.
oblige to Kayla doing this or whoever else
Yeah.
wants to do this format,
And if
they
they
give
want to do
if
that
it,
next week, that's their
yeah.
that's
Well,
their
so your
prerogative
my
as
question to you
well.
is, do you like that? Do you like that?
I don't mind it.
Oh,
If
see, I
no
don't
one
like
wants
it.
to speak up with it because they want to stay in the behind, like you said, the candle
Yeah.
she's trying to float through, or not make waves, or all those other people you've mentioned, that's their game. You play the room that you have. If you have five other people that don't want to do anything, well, you can run that. You can run the authority. It doesn't matter if you came in first or third. Now, if
Richard,
you
give
have
me
five other people that are like ready to make moves, probably like a Wes, a Jordan, that shit ain't gonna fly though.
moving off that, let's get into Melinda and Mark. Those are the people that essentially got nominated, and yeah, it's rightfully so. But it's kind of like, if I was Mark, I'd be like, how the heck did I end up here? And that's how he ended up here. So they were all surprised, but it is what it is, because again, that was the way that it was maneuvered in the authority, and that's, I guess, why they do the authority the way that they do it, because you have to essentially you know, arc it to your advantage. And Kayla did. So I may have not loved it, but she did. Arena. So Melinda is out on an ankle injury, which I gave her a little credit in thinking she did work a really tough final. And the way she said it to TJ, vulnerably and honestly, like, I worked my ass off on the last series, and it's just I'm not good to continue on. And I think TJ respected that. He says that Tina gets to pick a new competitor. She gets all Tina deceitful, as she always does, but it turns out she didn't get to pick a new competitor, but it was a joke, and it was kind of funny. This challenge is called Lights Out. Lights Out. Both competitors are tethered to a pole kind of circularly while trying to cover this light beam. Both competitors are pulling from each other's weight. It's LT versus Mark. Do you have any front runners?
I guess Mark's a little bit bigger, but both strong as a bull, and I guess you go slightly with Mark, but both won't give up, and they'll go until they almost pass out.
Yeah. I almost wonder, like, gosh, could this have been like Derek versus somebody, like somebody smaller? Like, that would have been really tough. So at least the matching was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely two of the bigger guys, and their tenacity on a event like that, you were for sure going to be up for a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show. I almost thought Letarian would pull it off. He didn't. He tried by listening to the people in the stands, like, oh, go this way, go that way. And it just kind of didn't work out. And, but it looked close. It gave you as a viewer like a little bit of like, oh, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? And as I said it earlier, like Letarian has given a lot of wonderful story and growth throughout these 3 seasons. So if he sits season 4 out and comes back, that would be fantastic. And I thought he almost got it. 30 minutes or 40 minutes of them just pulling and tethering amongst each other. I mean, they were sweating as if you jump in the water, you don't get as wet as, as the sweat that they had on them. So big credit to both of them. And if Tina didn't have an elimination, this particular episode, at least there was a really good elimination. I know it got my heart palpitating a little bit, so it was pretty good.
She'll have 3 stars now, though.
Tina will have 3 stars. We don't know what those stars are going to equate. Is she the one with the highest star? Yeah, she has the highest, and then the second highest is who? Mark and
Well,
whoever was the.
Yeah, it'd be Mark and Cyrus.
Yeah, with 2. So it'll be interesting because that will be something that I'll be in, twist wise. I think it's going to really add to the manpower that comes into your final, to the final. Maybe something like that, where you just need like more hands on deck. We will see.
Anticipation is killing me.
Do you have any last thoughts on episodes 1 and 2 here? I believe they're going to go episode by episode from this point on. Usually we don't recap episodes together. So yeah. Did you have any last thoughts here?
Yeah, I liked how they came out with the 2. I think they do that sometimes because you spend the first half hour of the first episode just kind of like showing everyone. But yeah, it's probably going to be one by one, and then I don't know, the episodes were good, and I can't wait to see more. I mean, I wish I could watch episode 3 right now.
No, week by week, I can't stand this bingey shit.
And
I'm so
then
pissed
4,
at Paramount
and then
for putting
5
2
and
episodes
6
together. No, I hate that shit. Episode by episode by episode. They act like we're sitting by the damn TV waiting for their shows. I can't stand that. I disagree.
That's why we're brothers.
Okay.
All right. How about the confession of the week? Who do you think won the confession?
Oh, for me, it's gonna be Kayla talking about Tina because if you're a loser, then you're a loser. Which she didn't mean loser. She just meant if you were the loser of the episode. So she said, well, if you're a loser, well, then you're a loser. So Kayla gets my vote for this episode.
Funny. I'm going with Tina.
Oh, why? What? Well, she said a lot.
I mean, when you could laugh at yourself for how pitiful she was at the swinging and how she fell over, and then make jokes about it and stuff, and then Tina always she's great at the jabs of people here and there, and then just even the way she talked to TJ, even though that's not officially a confessional, it's kind of like a confessional. Say like, well, I was the first one down, little stuff like that.
It is a confessional in a way because
I would go with Tina.
Because he's quick. TJ's quick too. So he doesn't play a lot of mess. So if you can get him to like get off of his cool for a little, I think you deserve a point. Yeah. She's great. She's great. And she had to be great because we all know she was a quitter and TJ hates quitters. So she had to earn it back.
Oh, she's got a lot of making up to do because of last season. But yeah, I mean, I would go with her. You surprised me with the Kayla after her last 10 minutes. But she did have that great line about Tina. Well, a loser's a loser. Why would we promote that?
Oh, that's funny because you thought I didn't like the way Kayla played the authority. You thought I would have what's it called? Objective. I wouldn't have an objective. Like if I like her in general or if I like her confessionals. Oh, I'm objective as they get, Richard. If I don't like one thing that you do, doesn't mean like I hated her authority play. And even if you say you hated it, you might have hated it because it was such a disadvantage to the people that you like. And it was kind of like credit to the person because she was so gnarly with it, but I still didn't like it. And I still wouldn't like anyone to play that route. But I could still also be like, oh, I like her little teammates with Jemmy and who's the people that she's kind of coming up with? Sylvia, Jemmy. Like I like her little crew trying the best that they can.
Yeah, she only knows a couple of them. I would say those are probably the 2 she knows the most.
And not to knock, she did pretty good on the challenge too. So I will like, and that's a good thing for our show too. If anyone thinks like, oh, we're just wailing in on different opinions, or I didn't like Austin. Notice I made an Austin comment about Nehemiah this episode. I made a Melinda comment about the Austin season this episode. So I'll always give you where it's good. But if it's not good, I want to just be like, oh, I don't enjoy that. But who am I? What my viewpoint doesn't mean anything per se. It's just my viewpoint. So no, I have no problem saying I like Kayla in general. But it was very disheartening that golden opportunity, and I'm not saying it was a golden opportunity like it had to be Wes to go in, but the lack of conversation.
Well, is that who you wanted in?
I don't even think I got to that point. I just remember like, and it's so funny because we're talking it after we watched the whole thing. I just didn't like that setup. I felt like if I was in the authority, my hands were suddenly tied behind my back. Like, what? You're forcing me to say who my void is, but then wait a minute. I don't want you to have your void. I want your void to be my, like me. Like if I could out-talk the group to getting your void in because I want them in, I want that privilege. But Kayla's way like allowed you to not have that luxury. And so that is a bit of, a pimp move, like you say. But I just didn't like that gameplay. Maybe because it was so gnarly. I
think she knows like someone like Kendall has no one else. It's just Kellyanne. She has no one else. It's just Sylvia. And so like if you already got 2 of the 6 people that have no one else, all you need is 1 or 2 other people to say okay, and then you have the majority to go the way you want.
Yeah, no, but again, I do like Kayla in general. She's fine or whatever. She's a newlywed. She's cool, but I just don't want that to be the formula going forward next week, and I don't think it will be. I think it was a kind of a one-time thing, but it was just a formula that I was like, this doesn't do anything for anybody. Like this is putting people in the middle of the pack. I mean, it was the most odd nomination. Mark and Melinda,
the formula could only go on for about 2 more weeks at the most anyway because of the dwindling of people. But
yeah, it just felt really, it felt confined when it was like, oh well, here's the 3 left picked out of them. I'm like, we can't pick the winners, that's 1 and 2. We can't pick the second and third, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, like that's 6 people. We can't pick the losers because the losers are going in. We really only have about 4 people to pick, and now we can't pick the people that you're all aligned with. Like it wasn't a big selection, and that kind of threw me. But no, I have a very objective opinion when it comes to like other stuff too. And she dominated the.
I think they just rather they were more willing to save the person they were closest with than throw out.
Yeah, but you don't. But if you don't think. I honestly think, now you asked the question, who do I think should have been? I actually think Wes's name should have been in the battle. Like it should have been there for it to just have gotten voided through Brad, like, and it just be like, well, that's it. He doesn't even have an option. Like, if you didn't do the stupid way that Kayla had them vote, you could have said, well, let's talk about reasonings. Well, he was the one that took the sabotage. His sabotage person won. He's kind of the most appropriate to go in because of that shot that he took. Whatever. It would be loyalty to Jordan. Like no one even got to have those conversations. Those conversations are better than I'm gonna eliminate Brad. Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna eliminate Wes.
I thought it was better for the show just for the fact Wes would have been predictable. I didn't see Mark coming out of that at all, and I was like, "Oh my god, they just nominated Mark!" And you would have never got that like reaction from me when like, "Oh yeah, of course it's Wes." Okay,
I'll give you points in regards to. Yeah, Mark came out of nowhere, but Mark coming out of nowhere when he's playing an exemplary game.
Not that exemplary. If no one wanted to save him out of the 3 guys, none of them picked him.
But Richard, that's just because they were put into that situation. There was no more choices.
Well, that just says in your mind he's not top of those 3. He's not in their top. He's not a top person to them. Shows a lot.
No, well, but that because you got robbed of the person who should have been your first pick. Most people probably would have picked Wes, and I don't think that's like a oh, well, that's a obvious. Sometimes things do need to be obvious. For every action, there's a reaction. You play the way you play. You talk the way you talk.
The only rules is there are no rules, though.
No, I know, but I'm saying that's
So
why I
when
thought
you
the
say
group was
like he
not.
should have been the one picked or something, you're like, no, because there are no
He should have been
rules.
in conversation. He wasn't in conversation
No,
because of
that's not the
a
rules.
moron like Brad. He wasn't in conversation because of a moron like Brad. Like that's tough right there. That's really tough. Like just because Brad goes, well, I don't know. I think maybe we should we should we should
Hey, don't
let
mess
him
with my man.
like
You
it.
keep calling my man Brad a moron. That's my man right there. Leave
When
him
has Brad
alone.
won?
Brad
When
ain't
has
done
Brad
nothing
won?
to you. He won
When has
Tori.
Brad won? He's not won. He's not
Yeah, he's
won.
won a he won a championship.
I thought he didn't win one ever.
I thought he won one.
I don't think he did. But you know more than me. You watch more of these. But anyways, no big deal. They all have whatever they have to do. But I don't ever want to be in an elimination like that. That's like you're in it to choose who you want to choose, but then you're like robbed of 6 people. Like that is like that. And that's again strong arm Kayla. She does deserve the credit of that. But me
And
as a like
agree
if I'm
to
in
disagree because
if
I
I'm in
loved it.
Kayla's group, I'm not
But
happy with that. That's what I'm saying. If I'm in Kayla's group, I'm not happy with it. We're all getting robbed our 6 people. Whereas the other hand, the other way to do it
no, but
is if
they were
you
happy because they're not now they don't have blood on their hands. Those people, the way they did it, all 6 of them can't say I have blood on my hands.
Yeah, but you got to structurally make sure you keep in the house who you want in the house, and you cutting the wrong people and building up the right people. Like even Kayla, I thought was a little silly when she's like, they're all from Austin, and that could be a really big alliance. We all know that, Kayla. What do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
fascinating fun fact.
no, I didn't think that
Kayla,
was a great move, but
wake
yeah.
up, wake up. I know you just got married and you're happy, but wake up. She's the one that just got married, right?
Yeah.
To Sam or something like that. No, she's delightful.
Well,
I just had a
I
hard
think a
time.
little bit. She got married. Jenna got married. They're all getting married. Derek's
Well,
fiance.
here's the thing with the producers of the challenge and the challenge Allstars. They did exactly what you want out of a show. We both loved the episode. Both had no problem with who went home. Sadly, it was Latarian. Sadly, it was Melinda. But on the same
Sadly,
token,
you're wrong and
they
I'm
do
right.
this. They do this thing like the Authority that gives so many different ways to go about it. And then when you see it go away that you wouldn't have done, you get disappointed. So that's exactly what the challenge producers would be wanting right now.
Not
That's what makes good
disappointed one
television.
bit.
Well, I certainly am. Anyways, this was
And
the Challenge
Mark's one
All
of
Stars
my
episode.
favorites. I hope Mark goes to the end. So when I saw him getting nominated, I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
see, I
way
don't
the
look at it
game
like
was.
that. I look at it as like you gave Wes a free ride. Like you can't.
No,
You can't
see, you're
this
looking
is
too much at Wes. I'm looking at the.
no,
What
but
it
remember
is.
when we watched Big?
All
Remember
you
when
have
we
to
watched
do,
Big?
would Wes do smart?
Remember
Became
when
good
nothing?
friends with Brad.
Remember when
That's
we watched
smart.
Big? But no, but that's not that smart typically because Brad would have never argued it good enough because Brad's not that smart. Kayla set that up for Brad to have the very lack of knowledge, know-how to get him out of that situation. So it's all Kayla. If you're going to credit anyone, you got to credit Kayla. I wouldn't call Wes
She gets
smart. I
more
wouldn't
of the
call Brad
credit.
smart. I would call Kayla smart in that regard. But anyways, it's over. I was just not
Damn.
into that
So Kayla
elimination.
lost the authority on your side, and she lost your confessional of the week to Tina.
No. She won the confessional week by far. My second confessional of the week would have been Kellyanne when they were like, "Calm down." She goes, "Calm. I'm not typically a calm person."
No, I
Kayla.
think I was just saying Tina won it for the week. Are we agreeing on that, or you want to go with
No,
Kayla still?
that's your pick.
I'm going Tina.
No, I'm going Kayla. We'll
Okay,
revisit our stats. We'll revisit our stats next week. We definitely got to go.
We got to have a winner before we leave. So you're 2 points for Kayla. I mean, I remember her one, which was a great quote that you just said about losers, but I don't remember too much else in the confessionals this time through.
No, it's Kayla.
It's Tina.
It's Kayla because I chose Kayla before you had all that back talk, which you shouldn't have had.
No,
that
but
back talk about the Authority.
No, but what I'm saying is, besides her one quote, what other quotes did she have? You can't be a confessional queen if you don't have a bunch of confessional quotes.
I don't have them written down, but she gave me enough. She gave, she's my choice. Tina's weren't all that great episode 2.
They weren't that great, but she had the rapport with with TJ after first one down, this and that. She talked about
I'll tell you what, you
her
budge.
and the
I
swinging.
budged. Who did we choose episode 1?
Tyler.
Because I budged on mine and we chose for Tyler. So episode 2, you budge on yours, Tina, and you go to Kayla.
That's not how it works. Who was your pick for episode 1?
I don't remember because we
had
Tina.
So like Tina she should have won by now. If she's been nominated twice and she's going to lose twice.
A whole lot happens in 24 hours or in a week as far as this episode.
in about 2 hours time worth.
Exactly.
If you could get one more quote from Kayla, I'll give you her the win. Besides that one quote. You're
not the director. You're not you're not TJ. You don't decide. I can't give you another quote. I can't do another quote. We freaking talked about this show for nearly 2 hours. We got to take a break and then we'll come back with stats on all that. So we'll be back next week with episode 3. I'm through, and Richard won't be here. This was his last day.
Tina for the win of the confessionals. All right.
That's later. What he thinks. That's what he thinks. We got to go. Bye.
Bye.